But for Ian Book and the undefeated Irish, it's a pure business trip, likely the first of 3 to the state of North Carolina within a month. For Mack Brown, his ascending program, a chance at a milestone win, to do something no Tar Heel team has ever done, beat a team ranked in the top 2. Under a Carolina blue sky on Black Friday, welcome to ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by PlayStation 5. And today's ACC game between the undefeated second-ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and the North Carolina Tar Heels. Kenan Stadium, as picturesque as ever, the campus eerily quiet, but welcome, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, on this football feast of a long weekend. Kirk, this certainly is one of the main courses, and on paper, it's the biggest test remaining before the championship games for any of the first 4 ranked teams.
And it's an exciting matchup because you have Notre Dame that's coming in with this newfound confidence. I think they've been playing with a chip on their shoulder most of this year, and look who they're going up against today. This offense from North Carolina, I would say, is explosive and dynamic as any offense in the country. Should be a great one.
Of course, Ian Book and the Irish had that epic win against Clemson, the double overtime victory. This fumble could have been a part of his legacy that he would have never lived down, but he regrouped and helped reshape that legacy with a game-tying drive. This scramble was huge early in the drive. Then the pretty pass to Avery Smith up the seam to set up the game-tying touchdown run, and of course they won it in double OT.
I mean, he's 28-3 as a starting quarterback. He's had a lot of highs. He's had some lows. I think he is playing right now his best football. He's letting the game come to him. He's not trying to do too much, and I think he trusts the players around him. So when you tune in early in this game, it's going to be about the Notre Dame offensive line, the physicality in their running game with Kyron Williams. But I think the X factor is what the quarterback can do, Ian Book, and the playmakers on the outside. Notre Dame very underrated in the way that group's developed.
Irish with 2 starters out in the offensive line. We'll talk about that. Yeah, Carolina is an absolutely electric offense. They've fallen behind often this year, but this was the biggest second-half rally in school history as Sam Howell eventually threw for 6 touchdowns. That rushing touchdown was enormous late in the game.
And think about this. They're down 21, and they fought back. This young team just kind of has a belief. Hey, let's get to the 4th quarter and have a chance. In fact, Max talked all week about Sam Howell telling his team, if we can get to the 4th quarter within a possession, let's go find a way to do it. Sam Howell has weapons everywhere. I want to see if this Notre Dame defense can match up with the skill and the vertical threat to attack you the way North Carolina can.
That is the question, isn't it? On paper, edge Irish, but the Carolina playmakers against the Notre Dame DBs, that's their chance at an upset here in Chapel Hill this afternoon. Our sideline reporter, someone who knows both these teams very well, Katie George from the ACC Network. Hey, Katie.
Hey there. It's been a long 5-year journey for Ian Book at Notre Dame. He's had his ups and downs, but he says he finally feels like he's ascending and he's playing the best football of his career. And that's in part because of the relationship that he has with offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. Book says the 2 share a special bond because not so long ago, Rees played quarterback for the Irish. He understands the pressures that come with the job. So now going from Book's QB coach to OC, there's a comfort and a confidence in one another, and they say it's translating on the field. Brian Kelly says Book is playing at a higher level than he's ever played. They'll certainly need that to continue this afternoon here in Chapel Hill.
It's a good thing when the coach says he's comfortable who he is playing a quarterback, and that confidence only growing after the Clemson win.
And I think that's a great report from Katie to talk about that relationship with Tommy Rees. I mean, it wasn't long ago you and I were standing up here calling games where Tommy was playing, and what an incredible coaching career already for him to be offensive coordinator and play caller for Brian Kelly and back at his alma mater.
Kind of a big brother relationship.
Yeah. He can relate to what he's seen as a player.
Mack Brown's done everything as a coach except coach against Notre Dame. A Hall of Famer facing the Irish for the first time. Chris Tyree, deep for the Irish. Jonathan Kim, the sophomore, to boot it away for Carolina. This should be fun and crucial in the ACC race and the playoff chase. Touchback, and Book will begin from the 25-yard line. He's a reflective guy, Kirk. He's going to be thinking about the fact that his very first career start was right here in 2017 when Wimbush was injured. He said he was so nervous, remembers everything about it, a comfortable win. But, man, has he come light years since then. Going for his 29th win as a starter, he was so clutch down the stretch against Clemson.
And Brian Kelly telling us, you know, he looks like he's just been freed up. And in the past, he was trying to stay within the confines of the offense. And now, you know, he's always been known for his creativity, but he was a little impatient. Now he's more patient working through his progressions. And I think he's just as Brian Kelly says, he just feels a lot more loosened up and letting it go in this offense.
This is Kyron Williams, one of these stories in college football. From a 4-carry back a year ago out of the doghouse to being the workhorse. Tackled by Collins and Evans. Now there's 2 changes to the offensive line. Jared Patterson out for the season with a foot. Tommy Kramer, they could get him back. They don't feel in panic mode making the substitutions up there, though.
Josh Love has played some big games. Zeke Correll, on the other hand, is a 5-star, great future. But we're going to find out how good he is early when his first start. North Carolina there got some penetration right through him on that last play.
Book looking to throw on 2nd and 8. So often he's on the move, and he'll make something of it with his legs. It's a short gain. It'll set up 3rd and about 5. Collins pressured him.
Jay Bateman, the defensive coordinator from North Carolina this week, made some great points about he's got a young defense. They've been banged up in the secondary. They're going to play some young people today. They get Kyler McMichael back at corner number 1. And Tony Grimes, keep an eye on this guy, number 20. They're playing a senior in high school that played in the state of Virginia. They didn't have high school football, so he enrolled and he's playing. They've been holding him back a little bit, playing him sparingly. He's starting against the number 2 team in the country, and he should be a senior in high school getting ready for homecoming.
Amazing. Notre Dame needs 8. They've been an excellent 3rd and long offense this year. Book had a clean pocket, but no one to throw to. Still surveying the field, and now he'll be sacked. Way back at the 7-yard line. Ches Surratt, the All-American linebacker, got him, and the Irish go 3 and out.
Well, they do a good job of showing pressure. They're known for pressure with Jay Bateman on 3rd down, but instead they end up dropping their linebackers and just sitting back and taking all of his receivers away. Great coverage downfield, nowhere to go for Ian Book, and instead of throwing it away and trying to create, they corral him, and he ends up taking a sack.
Jay Bramlett, who did not punt at all in the last game against BC, on for an early punt. And Daz Newsome is a dangerous receiver, comes up and takes it at the 50 and takes an immediate hit. Chose not to fair catch the football, but nothing on the return. Good coverage by that Notre Dame punt coverage team. Look at the weapons on this North Carolina offense. Howell with 6,000 career passing yards, 2,000 career rushers in Carter and Williams, 2,000-yard career receivers. Only Power 5 team in the last decade that can boast all that firepower.
Think about that. We've seen a lot of great offenses out there. It speaks volumes about their balance. It's not just about Sam Howell and their ability to throw. Really, in this offense, it starts with their running game with Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, who you just showed in that graphic. They get the running game going. You better hold on.
They've got both Carter and Williams in the game, but Howell looking to throw on 1st down. Took a peek, and now he'll muscle forward, gain about 4.
This offense is, predicated upon their ability to run, but you'll see things like this. He had a wide open receiver here on the very first play because these linebackers get caught up in the run game. You see Daz Newsome there streaking down the middle of the field. Rare miss by the talented Howell.
Handoff inside. Michael Carter breaking tackles into the Irish secondary and weaving his way down to the 20. The senior from Florida who comes in averaging 7 a carry.
And they're there. They're there. The gaps are sound, but we're tracking yards after contact today because Notre Dame's been a great tackling team most of this year, and North Carolina backs have been elusive and physical and tough to bring down. Example of it right there.
Now Williams is equally tough to bring down. Bounces off initial contact and gets about 4 before Hayes and Owusu-Koramoah stopped him.
And you said he gets about 4, and it should have been down close to the line of scrimmage, but he's able to shake through an arm tackle, and that's Clark Lee's biggest concern. You've got to commit numbers to this running game, and when you do, it really plays into the hands of how Phil Longo wants to attack you with his quarterback and with the skill on the perimeter.
All these weapons, they're very effective red zone offense. Howell has to elude pressure, still alive, and now will scramble. Makes a cut, lowers the shoulder, and still fighting. It'll be 1st and goal before Hamilton wrestled him down.
I thought Ogundeji had a chance to bring him down. You're not going to see this typically from Sam Howell. Normally, he's just going to be taken down, but he shows outstanding athletic ability, the balance. He got the left hand down, and he ends up picking up the 1st down. If I'm Clark Lee right now, when I get my defense over, guys, We got to get into this game, and we've got to get physical. We cannot slip these tackles.
Carolina with a 1st and goal in the 5th play of this opening drive. Howell from the pocket, bumping into lineman, now flips it over the head of De'Ami Brown.
And they just kind of pushed the line back into his face, and surprised he didn't try to roll away from that pressure. He was very determined to put the ball out there to Brown to give him a chance. They like the matchups when they get their receivers isolated against these Notre Dame corners. They think they can win in those matchups.
Like the matchups for the backs as well. And Williams is to the right of Howell. He's got the football looking to make a cut, running into heavy traffic. He'll lose yardage. And so the Irish defense forcing a 3rd and goal. Drew White and Adebiola on the stop.
Yeah, good penetration there. Looks like Howard Cross, who's an athletic defensive lineman that rotates in. Notre Dame actually bringing in 5 new players for this 3rd down early in the game, trying to make sure they have the right personnel on the field against what Sam Howell is working with. He's got a 1 tight end, 1 back, 3 receiver look.
Long throw to the corner of the end zone. Jump ball. Touchdown. Emery Simmons beats Bracey, and the Tar Heels draw first blood on their opening drive.
But Dalen Hayes got in there right as he released the ball. But, you know, you talk about all these receivers, you don't really mention Simmons very much. But there's a matchup against Bracey. Ball is underthrown. How about the adjustment, the body control by Emery Simmons to come back and high point that ball to take it away from Bracey and a potential turnover and interception in the end zone.
You're right. We've talked about all the playmakers. That's the first touchdown reception of the season for Emery Simmons, just his 12th catch. Got a win on the edge. That battle clearly goes to North Carolina.
I mean, Chaffee Brown, De'Ami Brown, Daz Newsome, maybe Walston tight end. You got the backs coming out of the backfield. Bo Corrales is back, who's been out the last 4 games, and instead it's Emery Simmons. Gives you an idea of the depth they have.
Grayson Atkins on for the conversion. So the sack for the Tar Heel defense on 3rd down sets up great field position, and they take it half the field, 50 plays in 7 yards. You know, setting up the touchdown right here was Carter. Again, tough to get to the ground. The Irish couldn't do it. And got him down into the red zone. And then the long throw and the first touchdown catch of the year for Simmons. Book and the Irish will have to answer now. Down 7. Fast start, nothing new for the Tar Heels. They've now scored a first drive touchdown in 7 of their 9 games. And number 7, huge, running and throwing. Tyree will let it go. And now Notre Dame, a few minutes after their opening series, ended in a 3-and-out. Kirk, now they take the field down 7-0. And Kelly may be becoming aware his defense has its hands full today. Tar Heels rush 4. Book flips it across the middle, and the catch is made. Crossing is Javon McKinley, big rangy receiver, about 10 yards.
They've got some receivers that can make plays downfield. Physical, big receivers. McKinley, 88. Skowronek, 11. I think everybody thinks the strength is the tight end, but it's not just the blocking. This true freshman, 87, you're going to see him make plays today. Michael Mayer and Tremble, 24. These guys, you got to get involved in the passing game. Make those linebackers cover.
Both in there now on 2nd and 2. Kyron Williams hammers forward. Again, one of these stories, a guy who has just become a complete running back.
Yeah, incredible story. And I think that we were talking at the break about the concern at center with Correll, who's a great player. And this last play is an example of what they're going to have to guard against is penetration, being able to, they're sliding. Jay Bateman told us coming in, we're going to try to test this guy. It's his first start. You lose a guy, he called one of the best players on their offense at center, and Jared Patterson. Let's test this young guy with a lot of movement, trying to slant an angle and affect his communication.
Williams motions back into the backfield. They hand it to him running left, and he is chased down by Surratt. What a fun player to watch. A guy who started against Notre Dame at quarterback in the meeting and then made the journey to linebacker. Probably could have gone to the draft, Kirk, but he wanted one more season putting himself on tape at this position.
I mean, it says a lot about his athletic ability. You start 7 games here as a quarterback, and Howell comes around, you move over to backer, and you become all ACC. Come back for your last year to kind of be part of that legacy and turning this program around.
Book down the seam, and there's the tight end you talked about. Michael Mayer, the 6'5" freshman from Kentucky.
Well, he's going to be available often today. He moves out and up. You got a safety in the middle of the field, so Ian Bick knows he has to throw this on a line before that safety can come over. You give Mayer a chance to make the catch and then lower his shoulder. He's got wide receiver skill set. I mean, he's 6'5", 235-pound true freshman, but plays with an attitude. And, man, I'm impressed by this kid.
High school player of the year in Kentucky last year. Heels crowd the line. Williams just runs right into an overloaded box, and Jeremiah Gimmel, the linebacker, tackled him.
Here's testing that center, bringing pressure, bringing attacks. Push that offensive line back. Take the fight to them. That was Robert Hainsey, who started 31 games, the leader of that offensive line, who they pushed back into the backfield there. So almost like, what do we have to lose mentality against Kyron Williams in this offensive line today.
2nd and 10 off the timeout, and Chris Tyree, freshman, is in at tailback. They hand it to him, and Tyree shows a burst, and the freshman into the secondary before Conley stopped him at the 25.
There's some concerns at center and right guard, but watch Carell climb and get up to the 2nd level. Great job by Aaron Banks, the left guard. And there's 52, the young guy, getting up there, making a great block and opening that up. And we get so caught up in Williams, but Tyree runs a 4-4. And so they have their own combination of backs in South Bend.
They do. You got some fast legs to spell Williams, who will be the workhorse today.
As they get closer and closer, keep an eye on 11. They get down to that red zone with his size.
Take it to Tyree. Book takes off. He's got some space and a blocker. Ian Book inside the 10 and knocked out at the 6. Scrambling for big yardage, a part of his game every game.
Well, they're concerned about blitzing, and if they do, we can't let him get outside. So instead, he steps under, picks up a nice block, but now he's got a receiver in McKinley that's able to lead him down. So Jay Bateman and this defense worked all week on saying, let's not let him play backyard football. Let's make him play from the pocket. He wants to get out and be the aggressor, and we can't let him do it. There he got out and made play.
18-yard gain and 3 tight ends now in the game for the Irish on 1st and goal. Hand off inside. Williams muscles down to the 2. They just maul the line of scrimmage with those tight ends. It's a lot of fun to watch if you enjoy the blocking part of this.
Yeah, I do. Unless you're going up against Tommy Tremble, 24. If you're a throwback fan of football and college football, watch 87 and especially 24 when they get down in here and they just push people around, really just bully people.
Like ferocity, right?
Yeah, I think they enjoy it more than catching the ball. They're over here right now.
2nd and goal. Williams muscling, leaning, and scoring on that right side as the Irish a long touchdown march to tie this game.
And they just follow the tight ends. They're going to take you to the promised land. Watch the push down by 24. Mayer does a good job of climbing up to that safety. But a nice physical run by Kyron Williams as Grimes, the freshman corner, gets to him. He's got the leg drive to get it into the end zone.
What can you do as a defender? They come in at angles. You're knocked off balance.
Yeah. It's really not a whole lot you can do other than just outnumber them.
Williams, who's top 10 in the country in touchdown runs coming in, scores for the 11th time on the ground. This is just a beautiful thing to watch. You call it 13 personnel, 1 back, 3 tight ends. Get out of our way. 7-7, a good start at Chapel Hill. This is Michael Carter, who will let the ball sail. Mack Brown is as cautious as any coach in America. Wears the shield on the sidelines, wears a mask about every waking minute. 1st down, and Howell on play action checks it down. And flips it to Daz Newsome, and he is one of the most dangerous guys in the country after the catch. More yards after contact than just about anybody out there.
No doubt about it. He's looking to get this ball thrown downfield. Long developing play, good pass protection, and then just checks it down. It's the importance again of tackling. It's tough to do. It's easy to sit up here and talk about it, but White bit out of control there, and you can't come after these receivers and backs in space out of control.
Carolina's won 8 plays. I think the Irish have missed a tackle in about 4 or 5 of them. Now on the roll. Too hot and too high for Newsome off his hand. Certainly catchable there. He had some space around him that time.
Well, you're putting these players who are outstanding. Owusu Koromoa that time had to make a choice. Do I stay out in the flat and defend the pass, or do I got to worry about the quarterback who's out on the edge against me? And he was kind of caught in between. Notre Dame catches a break there, that ball goes through the hands of the receiver.
Howell over the middle, low throw, and De'Ami Brown goes down to collect it. First down in Notre Dame territory.
Really good job finding the soft spot in the zone. Watch his eyes. He worked left, moves the backer, Shane Simon, exactly where he wanted him, and then he brings the ball back to Brown low for the first down.
They're playing with tempo. After the first down, they will play as fast as they can, try to wear out this Irish defense. Short gain for Carter.
We'll see Carter and Williams. We asked him, is there a reason that 8 or 25 will come in? And it's like, no, we leave it at the Robert Gillespie, the running back coach. Both Mac Brown and Phil Longo said, I don't even know who's in. It just works out where they about get the even amount of snaps at the end of it.
Don't ask the coaches which guy they like better. So it's like choosing between kids.
Yeah.
They're both very talented. They fake it to Williams. Howell from the pocket. Lofts it downfield. That's Brown in stride. Dragged down at the 1. The first electric long pass play for this Tar Heel offense. And that is the favorite target for Howell.
Watch Crawford right here. He just kind of eyes him and waits for him to make a decision. He goes with the crossing route, the underneath route to the tight end, so he leaves Bracey one-on-one. Notre Dame will lose those battles downfield one-on-one against Howell. And these receivers, a good read, eyeing Crawford to safety and making the call.
On first and goal, Howell keeps the football, makes a cut, and scores. That was quick. The long, electric play by De'Ami Brown sets up the 1-yard run. Tar Heels back on top. Here we go.
Put on your seatbelt here. This is tough.
By the way, Brown landed awkwardly, appeared to injure his left hand or wrist, and he's being shown to the locker room.
Well, that could be a big loss for Howell in this offense, but as you said, Chris, in a blink of an eye, 7 plays, 75 yards, a little over 2 minutes, and another touchdown. But the matchup, where do you start? You got to stop the running game first, and in order to do that, you got to commit safeties down, and to do that, you're one-on-one on the corners, which is what Carolina can make you pay for doing.
It's an Irish defense that allows less than 17 a game, and now the Tar Heels have 14 here in the first quarter. An even better fourth quarter team, just in case it's close late, by the way. Tyree will bring it out from 2 yards deep. And Tar Heels fly down there, smacking into people and stop them at the 17. To Katie George.
Well, as Notre Dame celebrated their first score of the game, guys, no one was congratulated more on the sideline over here than Zeke Correll, who's making his first career start at center. Andrew Kristofic gave him a big bear hug. Both Ian Book and Kyron Williams made it a point to come over to pat him on the back. So far, he's all smiles, but they'll need him to be a force up front as they find themselves in a back-and-forth matchup.
Back and forth, indeed. Irish again will have to answer. Excellent coverage by North Carolina. Mac Brown just hoping for a draw from the special teams. You could give a clear edge on paper to Notre Dame, but a nice start from the coverage team.
Yeah, British Brooks, 34, flying down that last kickoff.
He's a running back, right?
Yeah.
Play action Book. Has to avoid the rush. Lofting downfield. And a leaping catch made by Javon McKinley. The graduate student got deep, and he beat Don Chapman, the safety.
Yeah, Chapman is one-on-one because the corner, Grimes, ended up coming on a blitz. Watch him hit the arm of Ian Book. Ian Book showing strength in that hand. Right there, he hits him, pulls it down, and then throws it up and lets McKinley adjust and go up and make a play on it.
Had to rebuild the receiving corps with Claypool with the Steelers, Cole Kmet's in the league. And there's Book taken off, sheds a tackle, little stiff arm, in space. Book headed outside the 5-yard line, stopped at the 7. Another long scramble.
Just a quarterback power here. He's going to follow who else? 24 and bank. Then he shows that natural athletic ability that Ian Book has and allows you to run the quarterback. Design quarterback run gives you an extra blocker and an extra hat that defense has to account for. And I'll tell you, man, you give him a little bit of room and he's got some shake to him, he can make you pay for it.
Longest scramble of the season for Book. And from the I formation, Kyron looking for space, makes a cut. Hasek drags it down at the 4-yard line, 2nd and goal.
Really good decision there by Jay Bateman, the defensive coordinator, slant towards the boundary. Just outnumbered that offensive line, and somehow Notre Dame's still able to get positive yards.
Book in the shotgun on 2nd and goal. Bobble the snap, backpedaling, trying to make something happen. Book flips it down, and from a disastrous start, they're going to get a score. Dump down to Kyron Williams, who dives to the pylon. That was Book, improvisational wizard there. That play looked dead.
It did. Remember, Jay Bateman said we don't want to let him play backyard football. Let's take a peek to make sure he extends to the pylon, and he does. That's a touchdown. But Zeke Corral snaps this ball as if he thinks that Book's underneath him. The progressive pylon cam gets knocked out, shows that he scored. But he snapped that ball like he's under. This is backyard football. It's where Ian Book makes you pay for it. I love that he didn't try to run it. Got rid of it immediately to Williams with the speed.
Door for the conversion. Anybody else in college football backpedaled faster and better than Ian Book? He just is so natural at moving in reverse.
So he's like a point guard, you know, that just happens to be on grass. To go talk to Corral, kind of calm him down. His quarterback was able to, number one, make this play. There's that blitz. Look how he holds on to the ball with one hand, throws it up to McKinley. That's the big play that got him into plus territory. And this is what we talked about with McKinley's size. He can muscle you for that football. Most of our crew thought we have a chance to see a game, which quarterback and which offense may have the ball last could win this game. And in this first quarter, that's exactly what we're seeing play out.
Carter will let it bounce to the end zone, and the heels will begin from the 25. Williams has the corner and gives a little stiff arm there to Kyle Hamilton. A couple of future NFL players colliding. He's pretty good with the stiff arm, by the way.
Well, how about the hole he just ran through? Clark Lee saying enough of the corners being on islands. We're going to keep our safeties back to protect them. And now you're outnumbered in the run game. It's like pick your poison.
They fake it to him. Howell will be swarmed. He kind of withstood the initial sandwich, spun free, but is sacked for a 2-yard loss there.
He's this RPO game, they read space. Keep an eye right here with Bo Bauer. I think he wants to throw the ball right here on that slant, the glance route right here, but it's taken away because Bauer does not come up into the running game. So a rare misread there by Sam Howell.
Final 20 seconds of an exciting first quarter. On 2nd and 11, Williams tries to break free, dragged down after a short gain by Lifu, and it's going to be 3rd and long as we begin the second quarter. So North Carolina trying for a milestone win, never beaten a top 2 team. The Irish had their hands full after 15 minutes. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Set for quarter 2 on this beautiful campus. ESPN College Football presented by PlayStation 5. 14 apiece in the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive game of the week. Each offense forced to run just 1 third down play apiece in the first quarter. Carolina now needs 8 to keep this drive alive on 3rd down. They rush 4, across the middle, catch made, and hammered. Hamilton just leveling, and now he's got flags down. 2 of them, this may be targeting.
Just watching that live, you're going to see it in instant replay if it's helmet to helmet. He came in there on a defenseless player.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 14. That play is under further review.
I thought for a moment that Hamilton was hurt, Kirk, but I think he was just disappointed because he knew right away that he was going to be ejected for that. Obviously, Rusty Acrea, the replay official, will review this. Here it is, number 14 coming in on downs. Boom, lowers the helmet like a right off. That is
a textbook case.
Sure is. Take a break. The obvious targeting confirmed, so the first penalty for Notre Dame is a costly one. Their top tackler, Kyle Hamilton, out of the game. Thankfully, man he hit, Josh Downs, is okay after spending some time in the training tent. Appears to be fine, which is a relief based on the violence of that collision.
Great to see 11 up and even smiling. And for Notre Dame, boy, a significant loss to that secondary.
Ball moved to the 44, and once again, Carter escapes, still running. Yards after contact. You said it an hour ago.
Yeah, and Houston Griffith, who's a great player, comes in for him, for Kyle Hamilton, and right away he gets tested out in space, trying to make this tackle right here. Tough thing to do when you've been on the sideline for most of the game and then come in and have to deal with one of the more elusive running backs, not just in the ACC, but in the country.
39 receptions for those two running backs coming into the game. They each have one reception today. Play action. Howell has to avoid the rush. Rolls out and fires to Emory Simmons. Has become an important part of the attack today.
Something to watch. And Houston Griffith is a very, very talented young man who has the ability to be physical and also can cover. But Kyle Hamilton, kind of the quarterback of that secondary, and tonight has been making plays in space and at times has played man-to-man against some of those receivers. And that's something that Griffith will have to be able to do. Otherwise, North Carolina will go after him.
Williams, how would you attack his replacement if you were Phil Longo calling the plays for Carolina?
Well, I think because of what's asked of that position against this offense, it's not just because it's Griffith, it's just anybody that you want to try to get out in space, defend the run, have to tackle Williams and Carter in space and run support. And then I would try to get back, downfield behind him with make him have to make a choice on like some of these other Notre Dame defensive backs have had to. Do I pick the underneath man or the man going downfield?
Williams wrestled down right at the line of scrimmage. Minute 15 to halftime. No timeouts. Let's see, it's 4th down now.
But they are
take one here.
Those backers are flying downhill against this offense.
Grayson Atkins from 42. He struggled a bit beyond 40 yards. Not total trust in the kicker from Mac Brown, but this one right down the middle. Field goal puts the Heels in front as we approach halftime.
That's about as perfect of rhythm and timing from a snap, a hold, and a kick as you can hope for.
72-yard drive in 12 plays. He had the 3rd and 18 conversion. He had the key penalty on Kyle Hamilton to a costly drive for the Irish defense. We'll see what Book can do in the final minute 10 with a couple timeouts to work with. Actually, they have just one. They spent a timeout there to preserve time before the field goal attempt. And they'll begin from the 25-yard line. 3-man rush. They're spying Book. He delivers a long throw. And there is Skoranek. We talked about the grad transfer from Northwestern, the rangy receiver. It's a short gain. 52 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, I'm with you. I really like the look of 11. I think he had his kind of coming out party from Notre Dame in that Pitt game when he was healthy. Had a little bit of a hamstring problem early in the year.
Flip it to Williams. He gets out of bounds. They preserve the timeout. First down into Carolina territory.
North Carolina focused so much on the defending the tight ends and the receivers. Nobody picks up Williams sneaking out of the backfield.
Tremble had a drop earlier, so no catches for him. Mayer's been targeted a few times, but it's not been an explosive pass game yet for the Irish. Book lofts ball on the sidelines. That guy's been pretty busy, though. McKinley goes up, uses the 6'4" frame for the catch.
But again, the receivers are they're almost like an extension of the tight ends because of their size. Avery Davis is the only one that can get out in space and make you pay for it.
Book Throws it away again, and the clock stops with 24 seconds in the half.
North Carolina, for the most part, has done a pretty good job on Ian Book. He doesn't look necessarily settled in the pocket and sure of his reads right now. A lot of coverage where he has to hold on to the football.
And going to run the ball, staying alive and making something of nothing is Kyron Williams. He's tackled just short of the marker, so they'll have to use a timeout if they want to stop the clock.
Yeah, Day Hollins,
going down
15. He had it. He blitzed him on a corner. The knee does not touch. Outstanding balance. And it kind of a play that kind of symbolic of the attitude in the year that Kyron Williams has had. Kind of they talk about him being the pulse and setting the tone. It's a heck of an effort there.
That's why you do all the strength work, but also the flexibility work. Tremendous balance and flexibility to put that offhand on the field, to stay up and then make a 9-yard gain, because if he got tackled there, they're really in very marginal field goal range.
Yeah.
Book looking to throw, holds the ball, and now we'll just throw it away. A flag comes in. Oh my goodness, Mayer was running in coverage there against the safety Chapman. Ball wasn't catchable, but he did get tangled up with Mayer.
Yep. They wanted to try to take one shot.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
I think they were comfortable in feeling that they're in range for a field goal, so why not just take a shot to the big tight end who's matched up against an undersized, kind of fakes that he's going to block Day Hollins and then slides down this right sideline, and that's where he's interfered with by Don Chapman. Now they got another, quick shot. With 10 seconds, take a shot to the end zone. Find a one-on-one matchup you like.
They take a shot to the end zone to Skoranek, who tried to make a one-handed catch. Benefit usually goes to the receiver on that previous call. The ball didn't look to be in the neighborhood of the pass of the receiver.
Right. But, Chris, I can't say it enough, dude. That 20... and he's never gets his head turned around to find the ball. That dude's a senior in high school. It's the #1 ranked corner in this year's class that decided to play early because his high school, they didn't play high school football this year.
So high school senior against a graduate student.
That's what I'm saying. 17-year-old going up against, I don't know, whatever he is, 23 years old.
Sure, excited to be back in his home state. Comes from Charlotte. And he makes it 13 for 17 on the year with the chip shot. And the Irish do draw even at 17 apiece, heading to the locker room. And so Mac Brown trying for the program statement win. The Irish trying to stay undefeated, and in the top 2 are tied at 17 apiece. Exciting second half coming up from Chapel Hill. The Capital One halftime report coming up after these messages.
Mac Brown at the break with Katie George.
Back offensively, you guys started red hot, and then you cooled down just a little bit. What do you want to see from that side when they come out and get the ball in the next half?
Katie, we had awful field position in the second quarter. We did a better job of getting a couple of stops on defense, but their punters put it at the 3-yard line twice. And then we've really hurt ourselves with penalties. A holding call would have gotten us down to about the 20 that we messed up with. We've had a couple of defensive calls that we need to clean up. So, but we punted the ball well enough to the other end. We're trying to fight field position. Hey, we're even with the #2 team in the country, so have to give our kids a little credit. But I want to see them settle down and play. We're dropping balls, no penalties. Forget the environment. We haven't been here before, and go play.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Deadlock as we start the second half. ESPN College Football presented by PlayStation 5 and this presentation of the ACC on ESPN, the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive game of the week. Notre Dame trying to keep perfect season alive. Tar Heels trying to keep hope alive for the ACC Championship game. They would still need some help. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Katie George also with us. What began as a shootout, touchdowns in the first 4 of the 5 possessions to begin this game, which is Carolina's world, became a field position game in the second quarter. What's going to decide it in the second half, you think?
Well, I think North Carolina, first of all, they need to go back to running the football to be able to open up some vertical chances one-on-one downfield where you get the safeties up and run support. You get your corners isolated one-on-one where you can take advantage of it. And I just feel like Notre Dame's out of sorts a bit offensively. You know, Ian Book was under 100 yards passing going into that last drive, and now only at 123. And I know they're down a couple offensive linemen, but I'd get back to old reliable. Kyron Williams running the football to set up play action. How many times have we seen Ian Book tonight holding the ball and then having to scramble? So Carolina, a pretty good job against that Notre Dame offense in the first half.
You know, Kyron Williams under 4 yards a carry, but it's Sam Howell and the heels that go to work first. And the fair catch made. De'Ami Brown and Daz Newsome, 5 catches between them. Get the feeling they got a big play or two left in this game. A first down throw and a slant. And the catch is made at the 35-yard line. It's Newsome.
Again, worth mentioning that the very talented Kyle Hamilton is out for a targeting call. So you'll see a combination. A DJ Brown is actually in now. Houston Griffith would be in there as well for him.
And flying up is Drew White. In linebacker position.
And see, this is what the adjustment from Clark Lee. If they're going to bounce outside, let's chase it down. Let's attack downhill with our backers and let them be able to get penetration and then use our speed. They did that from about the 3rd possession on, where they've been blitzing these backers and having a lot of success with it against the running game.
Irish been on a roll. This is 5 straight games that held opponents under 100 yards rushing. Didn't figure that was possible today against this 2-back system. But they've been good so far. As I say that, Carter gets loose and is just tackled on the perimeter. It's a big tackle by Usu Koromor to save a massive gain.
Yeah, this time he's been, again, aggressive mentality, but good job by Carter of giving a little jump cut, bounces it to the outside. And when you blitz those backers, if they're not able to get that penetration and make tackles, then you've got a free lane there to be able to run for Carter with that vision.
And they call Woo or Joke. Senior from Hampton, Virginia. All but the 2 Notre Dame defenders standing up on this snap and falling down as Williams just lost his footing as he darted forward.
I think he got
down.
Caught up in with Sam Howell, it looked like. Either that or just the field itself. No, I think he just went down. By the way, that play didn't have much of a chance at all on 3rd and long of coming up with a first down. Notre Dame again gets a stop and gets the offense off the field.
Big assist from Williams with a false start on that 2nd down play. Kiernan will try to pin the Irish deep. And from Dublin, that's his style. On the run low. It's an effective punt. Tierney lets it bounce, and it'll roll dead. Excellent job by both punters this afternoon. It is field position theme continues. Katie?
Well, Brian Kelly at Haas says he wants to see his offense do a better job in 3rd down situations, which is an area they usually excel. He said North Carolina has done a nice job mixing up their looks, so we have to do a better job recognizing that. Defensively, he said, I don't care how we do it, we just need to get off the field, so that's a good start. And then he wants to see Houston Griffin step up for missing Kyle Hamilton on the defensive side of the ball.
It's a big ask. You're right about 3rd down. Notre Dame just 1 of 4. And now they're backed up. Kyron Williams lined up about 4 yards deep in the end zone. He's got it. Had to make a cut. Again, quick penetration, Kirk, and no gain. Tyrone Hopper's played a nice game.
Yeah, Hopper does a good job. And again, we go back to this theme with the center, new center, and you got to look out for slants and angles. And there it is. You're losing Jarrett Patterson. You put in a very talented young man who's never made a start. And North Carolina trying to slant and angle and affect communication, slip through gaps, and that time they did.
Skoranek motions across. 2nd and 10. Book looking back to the left and delivers. Catch made to far side. McKinley, who's been busy and reliable. He beat Grimes.
Boy, really accurate throw. Throws in rhythm. Ball is out even before he makes his cut. That's what you'd like to see from, if you're a Notre Dame fan, from Ian Book on his first throw in the 2nd half. A simple throw back into the boundary, but the timing critical.
They try to bring some pressure on first down. Book backpedals again, and the throw is behind Skoranek, so they heat up the pocket, and the throw is off target.
Well, just by shooting that gum on the blitz right here, watch Ian Book get uncomfortable, and then he starts dancing. He feels that blitz, he backpedals, and then just throws it off of his back foot. And that's going to affect your accuracy. See him on the balls of his feet, and then he just kind of flips it with his arm as he's falling back. Now, he's got the arm strength and athletic ability to do that, but I think he had the time to get his feet back down and try to make an accurate throw.
A lot of bad things can happen when you do that over the middle off your back foot. They take it to Williams. This is Book on the run sideline. Now there's Skoranek who's got it. They gave him a little cushion, and he collects it and gets to midfield.
That's a good call to get him outside. You've got Tremble coming right here, who's going to be out in the flat. There's Skoranek working himself. Now you got, this is where he's dangerous because of the ability to run and throw, and eventually he just dumps it out to 11, who picks up huge yards. Nobody there after the catch.
Mismatch against Chris Collins, the linebacker. Ball at midfield. First down throw. Tremble. Well defended there. They tried to thread the ball into double coverage. Pass broken up.
Boy, McMichael does a good job of coming off of Skoranek. Watch one. He's going downfield with 11. Comes off of him with his eyes turned back in zone. Comes back and is able to dislodge that football from the big tight end. But because of where he was in coverage in relation to the receiver, Skoranek allowed him to turn his head back and see the ball thrown.
Michael, the Clemson transfer, they get him back, as you pointed out this week. It's been important. Book on second down, backpedals, escapes again, and just heaves way over the head of Mayer. Third and long now.
It's really hard to make a guy who's 28-3 as a starter be back there and being unsure. We came into this game talking about, how about Ian Book? I'm telling you now, these last 3 or 4 games, it's the best he's played in his whole career. He's playing in rhythm. He's just letting it go. He's playing free and loose. Well, we're not seeing that tonight. So let's give the credit to the defense of making him hold the football and making him unsure.
Among active FBS quarterbacks, only Trevor Lawrence has a better career winning percentage than Book. 3rd and 10, short throw. Mayer's got it, and he's got a first down yardage. Spun down at the 35 by Conley. Now they're beginning to get the freshman tight end involved.
Yeah, true freshman against true freshman right here. And, you know, I think Ian Book's gotten to a point when he gets to 3rd down in the red zone. 87's, even though he's a young freshman, he's the first guy he's looking for. And I can tell you as a quarterback, there's nothing better than a big tight end with soft hands in those 3rd down situations. You start to kind of err on the side and looking his way because, you know, he's reliable and he's a big target.
When they start calling you Baby Gronk and you're a true freshman, that's a pretty high compliment as a tight end, right?
No doubt.
You should have a great career at Notre Dame. Book again looking to throw on the move, escaping, and has to just fire it into the bench. Heavy pressure from Trey Morrison.
Again, Jay Bateman dialing up things. He said he wanted to be multiple. He said the most important thing coming in against a quarterback that's played this many games is we've got to give him different looks, whether it's blitzing, show blitz, go to zone, anything we can do. And as you see, he came out there, and that's where he's so effective. He had no one open. Everybody covered, and eventually he's holding on to it. And the coverage does their job again.
12th play of a time-consuming Irish drive. Book wafted downfield, and out comes the flag. Joe Wilkins interfered with by Tony Grimes.
And Grimes, again, is the young man who's a high school senior.
Pass interference. Defense, number 20. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
He just does not do a good job of turning and finding the football. And he's in pretty good, he's in phase here. Then now all of a sudden he gets separation. Wilkins is able to get a step or two on him, but he just never is able to turn and find the ball, and he runs over top of Wilkins for an easy call for the official.
#1 rated corner in the recruiting class. Again, should be in high school. It's a big ask to be out there, but you can see his talent. and the trust they have in him.
And now they're ISOing him. Now they're going after him. And again, he's got a bright future, but as a high school senior on the field, you're wondering, why is he playing?
What's he thinking mentally out there, Kirk, at this point?
Well,
you're right. He knows they're beginning to pick on him.
Yeah, but if you're the #1 ranked corner in the senior class this year, you're confident. You feel that you can be out there. They've eased him in this year because in Virginia Beach they didn't allow him to play high school football. He opted to come out. He took all the classes that he needed and decided to come out early and play in college football. He's thinking, I can make a play. I mean, corners have to have a very short memory. He's got ability.
Tight ends roll to the right. Skoranek on the end around, and he will score standing up. Pure power football. The Irish run behind big bodies, and it's a 97-yard touchdown drive to claim the lead.
And Trimble and Brock Wright lead the way. Watch those tight ends on the right. Jet sweep, just a quick handoff here. They think that Williams may be getting it, but see the freshman, 87 Mayer makes a nice block, and of course 24 Trimble downfield with another great block. All three tight ends involved.
Beautiful mix in that drive that chewed up 5:22. So take the lead, check. Touchdown, check. Take time away from Howell. That's a perfect Brian Kelly drive. Big fella's on the edge. Not much he can do about that. Jay Bateman knew it was coming, but Skoranek just sachets into the end zone. Irish up 7. First rushing touchdown here at Notre Dame for the former Wildcat, the man who went out to California during the lockdown and ran routes for Ian Book in Book's home state. That was a smart thing to do.
Brilliant. Northwestern guy, right?
Yeah, it's smart. Let me get in with the quarterback of my new team. If I have to travel to California in a quarantine, who cares?
Whatever it takes. I'm in.
Howell on the heels trying to get the rhythm back now. Carter makes a cut and jumps over a man. Barrels out, good run to the 36 before Usu Koromora got him.
A better job of giving him a little bit of room to work with, and he's able to accelerate. That's the thing with these two backs, especially with Carter. If he can get through that initial surge, he gets upfield.
That's the kind of play that can let them crank the tempo, and they do it. Carter's got it again. Again makes another cut. Leans for 5.
Again, the running game, it's everything. It's everything to every offense, but especially to this offense, because they like to be able to throw off of that. Not just play action, but the run-pass option, which puts the backers and safeties in a tough spot because they got to get up and help against the run, and next thing you know, he pulls it and can throw it.
That ball batted at the line. Dalen Hayes looks like he got a piece of it off the edge.
They love to blitz from the field and then drop Dalen Hayes out here as a changeup. Just a different look. It's a big defensive end, but athletic enough to be able to drop in the flat. That time he didn't necessarily get out into the flat, but he was there to be able to help out. Looked like Tungabailoa Amosa also with his hand up there to knock it down.
Tar Heels 2 of 7 on third down today. Need 5 here. Williams won't get there. Could not turn the corner and escape. Ogundeji and his 4th down.
How about the speed? Ogundeji. Are you kidding me? Watch him get outside. I thought once Notre Dame got outflanked right there, Dalen Hayes gets inside, gets squeezed. I thought you might see the speed of Williams be able to get to the corner, but nothing at all.
Hey, man, few tacklers they've been able to do this season what Ogundeji did right there. Get Williams down in space for no gain with ease. So Kiernan on the punt. It's a short punt, high with backspin, and effective because it bounces again and rolls down. So Notre Dame, one more time, is backed up. They'll go back to work, up by 7. Williams on the pitch, tries to get the edge. Now will cut it back and try to bull, but Chaz Surratt got him in a bear hug along with Taylor. 2nd down and 13 now. Hard to get out of the tackle of Surratt. You say a good tackler for an ex-quarterback. This was a good tackle, period, right?
Yeah, and he really runs sideline to sideline. What I like, again, this guy's a former quarterback. 7 starts in his career before he flipped over. And he can get sideline to sideline, but he also can fill in between the tackles. And he can also play in coverage.
Book blitzed. Escapes the end zone. Little underhand flip to Skoranek. You see the improv from the quarterback again. He's at the 11.
Again, I keep saying little backyard football for Ian Book. Just flips it. We're seeing Doug Flutie do this back in the day where people at home sometimes think, he can't do that. What's he doing flipping the ball like this? You can do that behind the line, a little flip. Almost got behind Skoranek and gave Carolina McMichael a chance to get his hands on the ball.
Sure did. Good thing that Skoranek has a nice catch radius. That was a risky pass from that angle, wasn't it? Final seconds of the third quarter, 3rd and 10. 3-man rush. The Book's got time, but nobody open. A long way to go to get there with his legs. He doesn't make it. He is knocked out of bounds. No flag on the near sideline here, and it'll be 4th down.
I think Jay Bateman intentionally forced Book to his right. Watch what Surratt does here. He's a spy on 3rd down to prevent the scramble. Actually, it's this backer. See how he steps up, forces him to go out this way where they've got more coverage, and he's got nowhere to go with the ball. So a good job by Carolina dictating things on that 3rd down.
Irish punt coming up here. End of 3. Back after this message and a word for your local ABC station. Beginning of the 4th quarter. Bramlett's had a terrific day punting for Notre Dame, but he's trying to prevent Daz Newsome from creating good field position. It's a returnable punt, but he backs up, doesn't field it on the fly, and that's a mistake, and it allows the ball to roll all the way down to the 28-yard line.
Is it?
Carter, short gain. Mac Brown was hoping for this. Hang with the Irish, get it to the 4th quarter, where no team in the country has been better in the 4th quarter this season or in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
They've been stalling. You can see what's happened lately, or those punts.
Yeah, in the first 2 drives, and you see the 3 possessions in the second half, 3 straight punts. But Mac told us, I don't know how many times on that call, if we can get to the 4th quarter and we're within that possession, we'll feel good about where we are and having a chance to pull it out. This team's done that all year.
They're plus 64 scoring margin in the 4th quarter. 2nd down, catch made. Newsome ushered out at the 30, so short gain. It'll be 3rd and long. It's really been a function of the fact that their tempo wears down opponents. That Howell is such an even-tempered, cool customer. He's been darn near flawless in the 4th quarter as a passer in his career.
The problem is the jerseys on the other side of the line of scrimmage right now. You can look at those numbers, but at the same time, this is a different deal tonight. This is not the tempo and wearing down a defense feel at all in this game.
Howell trying to escape, does, but will not get 1st down yardage. Bo Bauer, who's the 3rd down linebacker, comes in that special package, stops him, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, and Ogundaichi is really making his presence be felt. He's lined up on the offensive's left, does a little twist to come inside, almost right there. He gets his hand on the jersey of Sam Howell, but the backers are getting a lot of the attention, making a lot of the plays. But man, this defensive line with different twists, getting one-on-one matchups and winning. Carolina off the field again.
Kiernan with the punt. Tierney will backpedal and make a fair catch. That's an excellent punt, and it backs Notre Dame up to the 15. 12:50 to play. 49 yards on that punt. Now the Irish will try to ground and pound and shoot clock, and a good start to the drive as Kyron Williams is in the clear. Tried to deliver one of those stiff arms. Morrison ushers them out. That's a monstrous game.
Watch Tommy Tremble right here just kind of open this up. You got the vision by Williams. Now he's got blocks downfield. Skoranek does a nice job just kind of shielding the young freshman Grimes, and then it's just about speed, getting to the open field. But a good job at the initial point attack, the left side of the offensive line. Eichenberg, Banks, and especially the big tight end Tommy Tremble.
You could almost feel the pain on the Carolina side giving the ball back that time. They chewed up about 3.5 minutes. Had some rhythm on the drive, but then it broke down. The 5th Irish sack stalled it, and now Notre Dame in Carolina territory. You'll see a steady diet at number 23 here.
They've had to rely on this defense better part of 2.5 quarters to just try to keep them in there, just trying to hang in there. They had a missed field goal, a short field goal by Notre Dame. But Notre Dame has not had a lot of opportunities because of the way Jay Bateman and this defense has played.
If I told you, Kirk, that after the first 2 Carolina possessions, they had 2 touchdowns, that Notre Dame was going to hold them to a field goal the rest of the game, would you have believed?
No. And it's really not necessarily a knock on Notre Dame. It's more of respect that you have for Sam Howell and the receivers and the backs they have. But man, it's been an impressive performance up to this point by the Irish defense.
They use all of the play clock. High percentage so that McKinley doesn't really want to get out of bounds, and they'll be tackled along the sideline. It's another first down, though.
Late in the game like this, really test the will. You know, and against a Notre Dame team that's mature and mentally and physically tough, you know, you gotta, if you're Carolina's young defense, you just gotta keep trying to find a way to grind, because Notre Dame, this is where they can close you out if they're able to put points up here.
At this point, even a field goal, make it double digits, would be important. But remember, Dorr has been a little shaky. Missed a chip shot earlier. Williams, stutter step, stiff arm, creates space, and will be dragged down. Another first down inside the 20 by Surratt and McMichael.
Remember, you talked about how North Carolina can wear you down. This Notre Dame offense can wear you down too with these tight ends. Nice job. Even Skoranek getting involved as a big receiver, but the tight ends open it up, and you get a crease into that defense with Kyron Williams again. You know, they're starting to win that time of possession battle. They're starting to lean on this Carolina team, and when you lean on a team physically, it definitely affects them emotionally and mentally too.
Known as the 4-minute offense, right? It could be a priceless thing in football. If you can have an effective 4-minute offense, it is so crucial in these close games. Another first down run for Williams. He's got some space on the right. Falls forward, gets 5.
Didn't you think it was interesting on our Zoom this week that Brian Kelly said we've kind of found our pathway in building our program? Offensive linemen, tight ends. If you can find great backs, obviously receivers that are big and rangy, like a Claypool last year, like a Miles Boykin, like what they have this year.
It's a great talk, because over the years, Kirk, we've heard the evolution of their kind of game plan to join the elite. First of all, they were lacking in the trenches, right? Alabama ran them over in the championship game loss.
Yeah, and I think playing great defense to go along with some of those attributes on offense. But this team also has, I think, a different mindset than some of these previous Notre Dame teams have had for Brian Kelly.
No doubt. Williams again. Then it was how many electric playmakers can we recruit to kind of match Alabama and Clemson? Almost impossible to do. But this formula, they feel like they can sustain this for a long time.
Yeah, because they're going to go get some of the great linemen. They're going to go get the tight ends, get a heady quarterback that's going to be a guy that can make plays and be a distributor. And they don't have to get the 5-star all-world receiver. They may get one here or there, but they're more about trying to find big bodies like they have this year with McKinley and Skoranek, those 6'2", 6'3", 6'4 receivers.
Book looking to throw for it on 3rd and 5. Pitch, catch, dive. Takis, the seldom used tight end as a receiver, gets a chance to catch a pass. Spotted out at the 2, all smiles down there.
Give the big fella the touchdown. I mean, he goes
catch of the year.
I thought he might get that one.
First and goal, Williams, easy. Leans forward, and the Irish wear down the Carolina defense. Another marathon march, that time 89 yards after the 97-yard touchdown drive earlier.
Yeah, this is what they wanted to do. Like I said, Carolina's used to winning the 4th quarter because of tempo and wearing teams down. But not tonight. They only ran 53 snaps. Notre Dame is fresh on defense, and they are the ones wearing down North Carolina with their style, now up to 480 yards of offense.
A 200-yard rushing game, and they've held the Tar Heels to just 92. Notre Dame defense potentially a 6th consecutive game holding the opponent under 100 yards rushing. So let's flash back to that classic fumble return for a touchdown by Owusu-Koramoah as Etienne coughed it up. It was Williams late with a couple touchdowns. And then this is desperation after back-to-back sacks by the Notre Dame defense. This is the play that ended it. They stormed the field. And the Irish with one of those landmark milestone wins. You beat a #1 team. You live forever. And Book's achievement after the fumble we showed earlier, potentially a crushing mistake, to bounce back from that. He'll have that forever in his life. That victory.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. And that drive, you know, late in the game, like you said, I mean, that's a drive 20, 30 years from now people will be talking about.
80 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was incredible. And I think a lot of people were excited to see round 2. And Trevor Lawrence, everyone talks about him not playing in that game, but DJ played pretty well. Really about Tyler Davis and getting the rest of that defense. James Skalski back, Mike Jones, those 3 players in particular will be big for Clemson in that game. If you're a fan of anybody outside of the top 4 right now, you are now a Notre Dame fan. You want Notre Dame to win out and knock off Clemson and open the door for the possibility of another team getting in, because if Notre Dame and Clemson split, I think you'll find a committee will keep them both in the playoff.
Oh, the pass rush for the Irish has been a huge story tonight. Ogundeji with the sack along with Dalen Hayes. Sack 6.
How fitting for it to go that way, the way this defense is played. He's right here on the right tackle. You know, he has great speed, but there he shows power in just pushing Tucker right back into the face of Sam Howell.
With Carter and Williams, who both averaged more than 100 yards rushing each coming in, they've held the heels well under 100 as a team today. Howell with the long throw to Simmons, and it's broken up. And again, 6 consecutive games holding opponents under 100 yards. That 2012 defense that had Nix and Tuitt and Teo, that's the last team in Notre Dame to do that. That was a pretty stout defense until they ran into Alabama.
Right.
You did that every game in Notre Dame that season, I think.
And for people that have just tuned in, maybe in the second half,
Every away game anyway.
Kyle Hamilton, who's potentially an All-American safety, who made a lot of plays early in this game, was ejected for targeting, and this defense hasn't missed a beat with him on the sideline. It says a lot about their preparation as a group. We've seen Houston Griffith come in. We've seen DJ Brown come in. Both those young men doing a nice job at safety for Hamilton when he had to check out. Shows the amount of work they do in the mental reps, even though you're a backup.
Walston made a catch. That was his first. They thought they had a potential mismatch at tight end. That's been bottled up. Been a pretty good job at containing Brown and Newsome, given their skill.
I think Brian Kelly's got a team that's wired a little differently. There's Brown again getting into some conversation with Notre Dame. But yeah, it's just the Clemson game is where I think everybody went from this Notre Dame team. Can they play with Clemson? And they scored a second play of the game. They went into that game not hoping, like maybe they're hoping to play with Alabama. They weren't hoping to play with Clemson. In their minds, they were going to win the game. And I think they really, as a group, felt that.
And so important because they had been handled easily by the elite teams in playoff games. The Georgia games, close. They showed they belonged with Georgia, the home and away, but couldn't quite get over the finish line.
Yep. Yeah, that Georgia game last year in Athens especially was, I think, showed you that they could play with the elite teams in a country.
Victory formation. Brian Kelly's Irish continue to do what they're supposed to do. 30 consecutive wins as a favorite. 2017 at Stanford, the game we did, that's the last time Notre Dame was upset. Think about that. They come in as about a touchdown favorite and win for a favorite for the 30th consecutive game. Run it to 9-0. Syracuse, a huge mismatch at home next week, and then back to the state to take on Wake Forest, which can be tricky. Ian Book's very first start was here in 2017. He's come a long way since then. His 29th victory as an Irish quarterback. That'll move him among the career leaders of that. He's going to have that record by himself, I think, as of next week.
And a lot of, I mean, some fun moments for him, the way he improvised and played. But Brian Kelly, when they go back and look at his film, to me, it's the defense. the defense and what they did in this game. North Carolina had 298 yards. 298 yards. This North Carolina offense averages 563. I mean, think about that.
To Katie with Brian Kelly.
Coach Kelly, North Carolina scored 2 quick touchdowns to start the game, and then your defense holds them to just a field goal for the remaining portion. What did you think of their efforts?
Oh, it was outstanding. It was kind of like playing triple option. You know, you're off for, almost 10 days, and then the speed of the game, we had to get acclimated. Once we were able to acclimate a little bit, we obviously played very well defensively. After giving up the 2 scores, we kept them to 3 points. So really well done. And then the physicality started to show itself. Ian Book was outstanding. Receivers made plays. We ran the ball late when we had to, run the football. And those 2 long drives obviously ate up a lot of clock and kept them off the field.
Speaking of your quarterback, he escapes, he scrambles, heck, he even flips the ball through traffic on a critical 3rd down. What goes through your mind when he creates something out of nothing?
He's a winner. He's 28-3, and he doesn't get the kind of credit that he deserves. He's a college football quarterback that wins football games, and we try to make too much out of it other than he's a winner, and he won again on the road against a really good football team. Mac Brown's building a great program here.
Thank you for the time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Katie, thank you. He's 29-3. We can update Brian Kelly's stat, and he is definitely a winner. Kelly's been a winner, too. Gets to 101 victories at Notre Dame. Moves ahead of Holtz, behind only Rockne.
And real quick, I just think Brian Kelly, coaches evolve. And Brian Kelly's evolved as a head coach from where he was early as Notre Dame's head coach to allowing a quarterback the freedom to do things that Ian Book does.
The Irish stay unbeaten. Keep rolling at 9-0. Tomorrow on ABC, Pac-12 matchup between Utah and Washington, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Game produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Derek Mobley. For Katie George, Kirk Herbstreit, Bill LeMonnier, our entire crew, I'm Chris Fowler. So long for now from Chapel Hill.